All right, today we're diving into something that is, well, it's pretty out there. It's a brand new theory that doesn't just want to adjust our understanding of physics, it's proposing to completely rewrite the entire operating system of the universe. So, yeah, let's get into it.
And to even begin to understand this, we have to start with a really provocative, almost heretical question. What if the very bedrock of modern physics, this idea that our world is built from tiny fundamental particles, is just wrong?
For all of its incredible successes, modern physics is hiding some pretty deep, pretty uncomfortable secrets. When we look at the absolute extremes, the very beginning of time or deep inside a black hole, our best theories don't just get a little blurry, they completely and utterly fall apart.
I mean, you hear physicists talk about singularities, these points of infinite density. But here's the thing you have to understand. A singularity isn't a real object. It's a warning sign. It's a big mathematical red flag that our theories are waving, basically screaming, we've hit a brick wall, we can't go any further.
And then you've got this whole situation, our so-called standard model of particle physics. It looks less like an elegant theory and more like a chaotic, overcrowded zoo. I mean, look at it. You've got electrons, 6 different quarks, 3 neutrinos, muons, taus, a whole bunch of force carriers, the Higgs boson. It just feels so complicated, right? Physics is supposed to be about finding elegant simplicity, but it feels like we just keep finding more and more random pieces.
So the magic cube model comes along and proposes a solution that is just breathtakingly simple. It says, what if we've been looking at the universe completely backward? Maybe the secret isn't in all the different pieces, but in the rules that create them. This right here is the core philosophical leap. The old way, our current way, is like thinking the universe is built from dozens of totally different kinds of Lego bricks. This new paradigm says, no, the universe is made from one single substance, the raw Lego plastic. And what we think of as different particles are just that one plastic being shaped by different molds, or what the theory calls geometric rules. The theory's central idea is all packed into this little equation. Just think of N as a giant raw block of marble that contains infinite potential sculptures. Now that symbol in the middle, semicolon times equals to, that's the sculptor's chisel. It represents the set of rules that chip away everything that isn't the final statue. And N is what's left over, the very small specific set of stable shapes that are actually allowed to exist. So reality isn't what's there, it's what's left over after all the rules have been applied. And this quote from the theory's own framework just nails it. Particles aren't the fundamental stuff of reality, the ontology. They are just the phenomena that pop out from the thing that's truly real, the set of rules themselves. Okay, so that's the big, mind-bending idea. But does it actually work? Let's see how this massive shift from particles to rules claims it can solve some of the absolute biggest headaches in all of physics. And we're going to start with a really big one, the standard story of our universe, right? It all starts with a big bang, this massive explosion from a single point. But what if that entire story is just one big misinterpretation of the evidence? Instead of a universe that's constantly expanding, this model suggests one that's fundamentally static. So you're probably asking, what about redshift, the key piece of evidence for expansion? The theory has a radical answer. It's an illusion. It suggests that as light travels over these unimaginable cosmic distances, it gets ever so slightly distorted by a kind of cosmic static, faint energy leaking in from other dimensions that we can't see. And what about those pesky physics-breaking singularities inside black holes? Well, in this model, they're just gone. The center of a black hole isn't some point of infinite density. It's a place where the rules of space-time itself undergo a phase transition. Think of it like water turning into steam. The fabric of reality just changes its state. But the laws of physics are never, ever broken. And that also solves the famous black hole information paradox. Information isn't destroyed, it's just stored differently. As you can see here, the vast majority of it, a whopping 65%, gets encoded directly into the geometric structure of space-time itself. Another 25% is carried away by radiation, and the last 10% gets encoded in that phase transition at the center. See, nothing is ever truly lost. This way of thinking also elegantly explains all the weirdness about neutrinos. Why do they have such a tiny mass? Because their specific geometric shape just barely interacts with the Higgs constraint field, the thing that gives other particles mass. Why are they only left-handed? Because that's just a fundamental geometric rule of our universe. And why do they seem to change between 3 different flavors? Because it's not 3 different particles at all. It's one single neutrino appearing differently as it moves through the different geometric rules of the space it's traveling in. Okay, but I did mention cosmic static leaking from other dimensions. Now, this has always been a massive problem for other theories. You start adding extra dimensions, and universes tend to get really unstable really fast. So, how does the magic cube model deal with this? Well, it introduces something with a pretty cool name, the holographic compensation framework. The best way to think about it is like our universe is wearing a pair of cosmic noise-canceling headphones, actively filtering out all the disruptive effects from these other dimensions so they don't mess up our own. And it works with a three-part system. First, it projects the effects from other dimensions onto a far-off boundary, kind of like a movie screen, keeping them from interfering with us directly. Second, it has this clever recycling system that literally catches and reuses any gravity that might leak through. And finally, it builds a stable quantum barrier that effectively seals our universe off.
Now, solving all these cosmic riddles is one thing, and it's pretty amazing. But what's truly, truly mind-blowing about this theory are the technological implications. This is where we go from just observing reality to actually engineering it. And it all boils down to this one simple, profound idea. If the very fabric of our reality is just a set of geometric rules, then it's not this fixed, unchangeable background. It's a protocol. It's basically a code. And if it's a code, well, maybe, just maybe, we can learn how to program it.
And this isn't just some wild sci-fi fantasy. The theory actually lays out a plausible technological roadmap. Step 1. Figure out how to locally reprogram the rules of space-time to create repulsive gravity, an anti-gravity engine. From there, you get contactless transport, think tractor beams. And the ultimate goal? A solar system gravity highway, a network of these field generators placed at stable points in space, creating literal transport corridors for rapid transit all across the solar system. This quote really brings us to the ultimate vision of this whole theory. The universe isn't a collection of things. It's the result of a logical process, a, quote, grand ancient self-deduction. And our job as scientists, as thinkers, is to reverse engineer that original set of rules, to decipher the meta protocol that kicked this whole thing off. And that brings us right back to the beginning, but with a question that's so much more powerful. This model forces us to ask, what if reality isn't just something we're stuck inside of, something we can only observe? What if it's a system that we can actually understand, interface with, and, one day, fundamentally program? The answer to that? Well, that could change absolutely everything.